of the reaction from Reeva's hometown.
In the result, the sentence that I impose on the accused.
I don't think our maximum sentence for murder, that 25 years, is enough of a deterrent to murderers.
So you're saying not even 25 years would be enough?
You know, murderers don't ever really get to spend 25 years in jail. You know, the sentences are always reduced. I really think that we need to do more to deter, in particular, gun violence, because there's a culture out there of shoot before warning, and this is what's happened in this case. And I think we need to actually deter that kind of behavior and prevent more gun-related murders in this country. I mean, here in Port Elizabeth, we have massive gun-related violence because of the gangster problem as well. So I think a clear message needs to be sent out.
Heather, now
this is a start, but I think a stronger message should be, you know, life sentences should actually be more than 25 years.
Heather, now, Reeva's parents, Janine and Barry Steenkamp, they declined to interview before sentencing today, and it might be difficult even for us to get an interview with them later today. How difficult has it been from a media perspective to actually tell the story of Reeva, because her parents never spoke to any local media?
I was working at the Herald, local newspaper here in Port Elizabeth at the time when the story broke. And I have to tell you, our reporters really battled to get an interview with the family. And the problem is that because Oscar was world famous as the Blade Runner and Olympic star, and because Reeva was this model and also a television star, the international media just descended on Port Elizabeth. And with the international media and also the penchant of some media in South Africa for checkbook journalism, you found that smaller newspapers like the Herald, which don't pay for stories, actually were squeezed out of the main story, you know, as it started developing. The family were paid quite large sums of money for the international coverage, and that did prevent the local media from actually telling the story from Reeva's perspective. But they did try, and I think they did do exceptionally well, considering the difficulties there were.
Heather, let's just come briefly back to his sentence now today. The judge made or put a large emphasis on the fact that he is disabled. Do you think that should carry weight when it comes to putting people away for crimes they've committed?
No, I don't think, you know, Oscar's managed to show how he triumphed over that disability. He should not be using that disability to reduce his sentence or to argue in mitigation of his sentence. I think Oscar's fear have more to do with the culture in which he was raised, and that is a fear in a lot of white South Africa, the fear of being attacked by intruders and I think that needs to be dealt with differently. I think in South Africa we need to confront our fears and deal with them appropriately. Press the panic button. Don't pull out your gun and just randomly shoot into a door and murder, whether it was Reeva or whether it was an intruder. It's still wrong. It's still murder.
Heather, now Janine and Barry Steenkamp have hope now, with this chapter closing today, that they will finally be out of the spotlight. From a media perspective, we're in the industry. Do you think this will happen, or do you think the eyes of the media will continue to follow them?
I don't think they will completely move away from the spotlight of the media. I think people will be looking into, you know, there's a Reeva Steenkamp Foundation. People will be interrogating that. I mean, the media will be interrogating that, looking at how the memory of Reeva has been preserved by the family.
Because that's yet to get off the ground.
Yes. So the media will, I mean, I think Reeva will still be in the spotlight, not as prominently now that the sentences come out, but I don't think the media will totally forget about the Steenkamps.
Heather, thanks so much for your time. Yes, hoping that Reeva Steenkamp will be remembered, particularly by the people of Port Elizabeth, who we have heard on many occasions held her very close to their hearts. And we know that her parents, Janine and Barry Steenkamp, each year on her birthday, which is coming up on the 19th of August, we know that they will go back to Polyp Beach here in Port Elizabeth, where they did scatter her ashes. On each of her birthdays since her passing, they've been there and they've walked into the water and they've thrown bunches of roses into the water. So her memory will live on here in Port Elizabeth.